Well, today's episode, we're going to review what happened on the latest AEW Rampage, where we had three interesting matches. We got the AEW World Tag Team titles on the line, a grudge match between Anna Jay and the Bunny, but also the TNT title is on the line as well. We even got, of course, three interesting matches coming from 205 Live, and once again, in one of these matches, it has women's match, which I'm okay with it. I enjoyed it. But also, I want to apologize to those. Even though I mentioned I was going to review GCW, it's a little late for me, but I will review that in two other episodes, which I'm going to explain by the end of this one. But for now, I'm also going to review two past events from two different Japanese wrestling promotion. One, of course, is Yoshi Promotion, Oz Academy, and also Pro Wrestling Noah. So, let's get started with another episode of the Leader Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to the Lead It Wrestle Zone. All things that it's pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J Rod here. So, let's begin with AEW Rampage. As you know, we're not that far off from the Grand Slam for both Dynamite and Rampage. It opened up with the AEW World Tag Team titles on the line, where we have, of course, the Butcher and the Blade, who are undefeated in tag team competition, and they made their presence known. They want to challenge their former friends in the same faction they were with Eddie Kingston, the Lucha Brothers. This was a very tough match, but I was saying it was incredible. It kind of showed, okay, the Butcher and the Blade are well known what the Lucha Brothers are doing. So basically, it helped. But I think the biggest surprise is when they were able to tie the knot on the back of the mask of Penta into the ring ropes. But what was amazing is Penta sacrificed himself by removing the mask in order to save the match, in order for him and Ray to beat Butcher and the Blade and retain the titles. And that was an incredible moment. I have to say it was very, very perfect. However, as soon as they won the match, they were viciously attacked by both, of course, the Private Party. But out of nowhere, here comes um, Inner Circle, Santana, and Ortiz. Now, some of you are saying, why did he show up there? As you know, these guys have an incredible rivalry. Much like the Young Bucks, we have Santana, Ortiz, and Penta and Phoenix. They have faced off before in various promotions. I've seen them in both House of Glory, Impact Wrestling, and wherever they are booked. It's one of those moments. Oh yeah, and I forgot AEW. I forgot one of those timings as well. But it tells a great story. But do I think there is a chance that once this thing between them it blows over, I do believe that we will see maybe Santana Ortiz becoming the next challengers for the AEW World Tag Team titles, and that is something we definitely got to pay attention about. Now, the next match, of course, we have the Bunny along with Penelope Ford taking on Anna Jay, who's being accompanied by Tay Conti. This is a grudge match between. This is what happened. As you know, the reason this match has happened, the Bunny and Penelope Ford formed an alliance before the Casino Battle Royal. They even attacked Tay Conti, but out of the blue during an event, we did see Anna Jay made her return after she was gone for many months from an injury, and that kind of plays out in a good story. But the one thing that played out is Anna Jay putting down the Bunny in an upset victory. However, it did not take likely for both Bunny and Penelope Ford. Apparently, Penelope Ford brought out the brass knuckles and knocked both of them out. It turns out the following week we're going to see Penelope Ford taking on, I think, Tay Conti. So this is going to be an interesting match. However, because of these two matches that took place, The AJ Foe Hardy family office has lost 2 in a row so far, but he's taking his frustrations out on Orange Cassidy, but also a Orange Cassidy look-alike. Well, he's a bit more fatter than he looks. But of course, Matt Hardy brought him out and tried to cut his hair to send a message to Orange Cassidy that he will cut his hair the next time they meet. So, but of course, Orange Cassidy showed up to give a helping hand, but out of the blue, he was a little too late. But this is not this feud; it's just beginning. Now, the next thing we have is Britt Baker. As you know, she comes out giving her promo, and Ruby Soho, basically, who's ready to take on Britt Baker for the title. Britt thinks that, oh, she's a liar, that she's a runaway, and they took firing shots as well. As you know, we know that Ruby Soho was recently released, so they used that as part of the promo. Did not expect that, but it was great. I think it showed a lot of character how Ruby Soho is now being taken serious. But do we think that in some point we're gonna see Britt Baker drop the title? I don't know. I mean, it would be interesting, but right now that's an open question for another time. Now our main event is for the TNT title. Now this was another interesting match. Fuego del Sol issued the challenge that he put his car on the line for another shot of the TNT title. But this match was way more interesting and way more longer than it normally would from the first time Fuego encountered Miro. And I have to say, it played out another well. Like, I think Miro underestimated Fuego for the last time. But however, it wasn't enough for Fuego to put him down, even if he tried to put DDT on him. But Miro put him down for good, and then later he decided to torture him some more by putting him in the camel clutch, bending him back with his car keys in his mouth, trying to suffocate him. But out of nowhere, we see Sammy Guevara to give a helping hand to one of his best friends. Now, this is the critical part that I started to suspect. If you guys ever seen Sammy Guevara's vlogs, the time after Sammy and Fuego did teamed up after the match in an AEW Dark episode, they mentioned on the vlog that Sammy should get some gold. And I'm thinking, are they playing that role right in this moment? Because if it is, it could tell, okay, we could see Sammy, who could beat Miro for the TNT title. If that's the case, then I'm definitely in. Really want to see this happen. I really will love to see, for once, Sammy held a championship, despite the fact that we know he's talented, we know he's good, we know he can bring a lot to the table. But as a fan, I will love to see him be a TNT champion. So I think that's it right now with AEW Rampage. So let's go with 205 Live. Okay, so 205 Live, once again, we got 3 matches that were booked. First one is a women's match. We have Valentina Ferros, who's been on a roll a week ago, taking on Amari Amari Miller. It was another good match. I think excuse me. Sorry, my throat's kind of dry a little bit. But anyway, um, I think in this particular match, we're now seeing that maybe these women we could see mostly come out on NXT. Now, if you're wondering, the 205 Live setting is also in the NXT setting as well. I would love this. I know we've seen Valentina Forrest and Amelia Miller make appearances on NXT, but I think they're giving more exposure. Even if you don't see them on live television, it's a pretty good moment. But I have to say, Valentina Ferros is really interesting to pay attention because, uh, she used an amazing submission, like an armbar type, but in a very unorthodox way. And I think it shows a lot of character that she wants to be, you know, claims that she wants to be there. And that's a good thing to watch. And that's how she won, and she forced Amari Miller to tap out. Now, the next match, we got Malik Blade taking on Boa of Tien Sha. Now, this is a very interesting match. I have to say, Boa, we know he's being a much different guy than we normally see, but it showed a lot of more character about Boa, because ever since we haven't seen Xia Li for a while, but seeing Boa more often, it gives a much better perspective. Of course, Mei Ying was right there watching, um, but of course, Boa did not fail. But sooner or later, Boa will find retribution for the loss that he had against Cyan Quinn, and that is something we definitely could see. Now, our main event, Andre Chase taking on Trey Baxter. What an incredible match! If you guys know this, I'm a huge Trey Baxter, but when he was known as Blake Christian, he's very talented. I will never forget his rivalries that he had with Ari Sterling, but at the time he was Alex Zane. I love Baxter. He's a talented. I can't believe he put a 450 foot stomp onto Andre Chase to win the match, and I have to. That's real talent that I enjoy watching. I hope we get to see Trey Baxter more often in NXT because, like I said, he's talented. But if they don't do that, then they screwed that up for many fans who enjoy watching him. So let's move on with Oz Academy. Okay, this is one of the recent events by Yoshi Promotion Oz Academy. It's called Feast of the Evil Empress. I have to say it's a very good title. This took place on the 5th of August, which was early in that time. Majority of the matches were for the Oz Academy Openweight title number one contendership. We had the first round, the second round, and of course the semifinals. So let's go with the first round right now, and then we'll get to the main event, which was a plasma blast death match, which is pretty cool. The first match for this for the openweight title number one contendership tournament, we have Yu taking on her tag team partner, legend in the Yoshi world, Coyote Yonoyama. This was a very interesting match. I have to say it was definitely a very interesting booking because these two are known as the Beast Friends, and to me this is more like who wants it more. But frankly, Yu was the one. If you guys wondering, the name Yu is YUU, not YOU. The name of the opponent is YUU. She actually won this one by putting Yonoyama in a submission, even though she did not want to do this, but she had to because this was an opportunity of a lifetime for her to finally become a champion, maybe facing Maya Yukihi, who is the current champion. The second match is Atsuki Aoki also taking on her tag team partner, Zubaza Karugaki. It was a great match. I have to say it was pretty good. I see the determination in this type of match, but however, the match ended in a time limit draw after 10 minutes. Some of you say, wait a minute, don't they normally do 20 minutes? Yes, like they do 20 minutes, but in their case, it's 10. Don't ask me why. I don't want to know. And frankly, it doesn't make no difference, but it's fun. So this kind of conflicts into the rounds that we're planning to do. The next match we got Kakeru Sekiguchi taking on Rina Yamashita. It was another good match. Now, to me, I would have assumed in this particular match that Sekiguchi was going to win because she is a very interesting wrestler to follow. I've seen her many times over in different promotions such as Ice Ribbon and Actress Girls, but this time it was Rina Yamashita who picked up the victory by pinning her out, and of course this was a very disappointing loss for Sekiguchi. The next match is of course Sekiguchi's tag team partner Akino taking on her a teammate as well, Sonoka Kato. This was another hard-hitting match. I was like, whoa, very interesting. These two are hungry who will move on to the next round in order to become the challenge for the openweight title. And I have to say, but Aquino did an amazing job putting a very impressive submission to force Kato to of course to tap out. So she finished the first round. Now let's jump into the second round. Now, Yu was in the match, but however, because of the time limit draw, she automatically wins the match. Now, the next second round match, we have Rina Yamashita taking on Akino. It was another good match. It showed how much these women are determined. Now, Akino seems like the fan favorite to win, but of course, it was her who submitted Rina Yamashita to continue into the semifinals. But her opponent, she had to face, is a member of the um, Ozaki Gun, um, Saudi Anoa'i, who is also in the tournament, but however, she was the oddball. And of course, because of the help from Ozaki Gun, Saudi Anoa'i won, which was a very disappointing loss for her. Azuki Gun would do whatever it takes to ensure the title stays in their way, since Maya Yukihi actually is the current openweight champion. Now, our main event is the Plasma Blast Deathmatch. We have Ram Kyochi, Aja Kong, and of course the Destroyer Hiroyo Matsumoto taking on three members of Ozaki Gun, Yuki Oka, Mayumi Ozaki, and Mayu Ihiki. Of course, the other members, the Sarui Anoe is also there, and also the Stooge who gets involved. But every moment they get a chance to arm the exploding barbed wire baseball bat, they keep turning it off in order to prevent it. But I only seen so far in the entire thing 2 hits, but this time they were mostly on Mayu Ozaki, who took the hit very well, I have to say. But Aja Kong is still a freaking beast that we haven't seen. I have to say, she's amazing. She hasn't missed a damn step. But it was what's her name? It was her who was able to pick up the victory when she pinned Mayu Ozaki, and of course, it was a classic moment, and I enjoyed it. I'd say it was fun. So I think that's pretty much it. We got Oz Academy, so let's go with Pro Wrestling Noah. Okay, the last thing I'm going to review for all of you, this is a past event by Pro Wrestling Noah, Cage War 2021. This took place on the 26th of June. There were no audience then. During this time, they were still dealing with the surge that was going on with COVID 19. I know some of you probably are sick and tired of hearing that, but right now, I'm only giving you guys a detail of what's been going on. That way, you get a clear idea of what was happening during that time. Now, the main event is a hair versus hair match in the steel cage. But right now, let's go from top to bottom. We have Kinya Okada, who is still on the learning curve, being a young boy that he is, taking on a member of Congo, Manabu Soya. Now, I can tell you with this match, Kinya did a good job, but however, when it comes to Manabu Soya, it's a different story. He's a beast. He's an animal. You know he can break you in half, and that's exactly what he did to Okada. He actually broke him in half and pinned him, and he stayed down for that. So he wins this match for the night. The next match we got is Yasukata Yano and Kai Fujimura taking on members of Stinger. We're talking about Yoshinari Ogawa and Hayata. Now these guys will be participating later on in the battle royal for the GHC Junior Heavyweight Championship for a number one contendership. But however, you can tell as Ogawa, he is the leader of Stinger. He is the scum of the earth, as they describe him, even though the song "Scum of the Earth" tells it all. But he actually picked up the victory when he put down Fujimura in a pinfall in order to win the match. That's what they normally would do. Now this next match is a 8-man tag team elimination match. We got Funky Express, consistent of Akitoshi Saito, Matsunao Inoue, Mohamed Yone, and Sushi Taniguchi, taking on Sugiguro Gun, consistent of Kazunari Marukami, Kazushi Sakuraba, Kendo Kashin, and Takashi Seguro. Now, this part of the match was so funny. Kendo, who talks too much, decided to volunteer himself to be the first participant. But when things were getting worse, he decided to try to tag the others. They just, you wanted to take control of this, so you do it yourself. But however, it was a 4-on-1 situation in the whole thing. When they finally gave in, it was like, okay, back to business. But however, somehow Funky Express were able to get rid of Kendo. They even got rid of Sakuraba and of course Marukami. It was weird, but however, the biggest moment was of course uh, Sigurai, the leader of Sigurai-gun, actually was the only one standing that took all four members down, like very quickly. He had energy that you could not explain. But it was a good match, with him being the last one standing. That kind of reminds me of the match with Mina Shirakawa in the elimination match last year when when Cosmic Angels were challenging, were facing the Stars for the artist title belts. But this was more intense. But however, Sugirai actually was able to hold on his own. But it was an impressive match. Even Funky Express, they had a plan, but it just backfired on them. The next match is a tag team match. We got Yoshiki Inamura and Kaito Kiyomiya taking on M's Alliance, consistent of Masakai Mochizuki, who we know from Dragon Gate, along with Naomichi Marufuji. This was also a good match because it showed how M's Alliance has been now stronger ever since now Michi Marufuji won the GHC Heavyweight Championship. He is now a four-time title holder. But it was in this particular match Mochizuki who picked up the victory when he did a springboard kick off onto Kiyomiya, allowing for his team to win. Now the next match is the GHC Junior Heavyweight title for the number one contendership in a battle royal. Now there were guys like Yohei, Eita, Nosawa Rongai, um, Ikudo Idaka, members of Stinger. Other people were there. All the junior heavyweight contenders, with the exception of Atsushi Korige, who was watching from the sideline. Now, I think the best moment was the ending where it was Hayata taking on Yohei. They know each other too well. They hate each other, but the way it ended, it was, of course, Hirata who won, and he is determined to win the title. Even Korige gave him some words, but however, Hirata doesn't care what words he has to say. Right now, with the Noah Junior Heavyweight division, it's all about which Junior Heavyweight faction and who is the most dominant. That has always been the case with this type of with Pro Wrestling Noah, but I enjoyed it. Now the main event is the hair versus hair steel cage match between Masa Kitamiya taking on Natsukiko Nakajima. If you guys recall, not too long ago, Kitamiya turned his back on Nakajima, telling him he had a problem with him, and he walked out on Kongo. Now Keno, who can see there's issues between them, now he decides, I'm not stepping in. You're handling your business your way. I stay out, but we will watch. Even though the members of Kongo were all in dead silence, they don't know what to do or who to support. But it was a good match, I have to say. But somehow, Kitamiya was able to win the match. It was like, wow, it was incredible. However, because of the match, it's a hair versus hair, it forced him to get his haircut. But however, the only bigger problem that both individuals have, even though Kitamiya is no longer part of Kongo, both Nakajima and Kitamiya are the current GHC Heavyweight Tag Team Champions. But the real question is how they're going to resolve this. Well, I do know because from what I understand now, they did. But we'll get to that when we review whatever we can get our hands on right now. So I think that's it right now with Pro Wrestling Noah. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. but I will apologize because I did mention in the previous episode I was going to review GCW's The Highest in the Moon. Reason is I've been using the Watch Pro Wrestling link where they have all of it, but I will put that in the 2 episodes. Now, here's the kicker: what's gonna do? Um, on Saturday, it's basically I have a tight ship. Basically, there's a lot of wrestling going on, so I'm going to put the next episode just 2 reviews from recent ones. One by Gato Moves, a Choco Pro, 155, and of course, day 1 of the G1 Climax. As the rest, we're gonna have GCW's in the highest mood. The one recently came out, and hopefully, I get to see GCW versus Fist, which is happening here in my hometown of San Diego, California, along with hold on, what other ones? I wrote it down here, people. Oh yeah, of course, we got New Japan Strong for the Fighting Spirit Unleashed, and of course, we got Impact Wrestling Victory Road. I'm excited for all of this happening, and I hope I can do all 4 of them as much as possible. But if I don't, I apologize in advance for all of you guys because I know there's a lot of wrestling. It's probably going to blow up my brain. And of course, Sunday we have Shine doing another event. I may do that too. More with Got to Move coming up on that day too. Uh, there was a lot of things going on. Oh yeah, of course, don't forget the G1. I forgot about that. But right now, let's just stick what we can do. Right now, like I said, the following episode will be Choco Pro and New Japan G1 Climax Day 1. So, I'll see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. And have a nice day. Bang!